the most time consuming parts in the beginning when you gotta actually cut open the belly. Otherwise, what the... Is this thing like possessed? It's just auto grabbing. What's up everybody, PR and VR. So I've been thinking about a tips and tricks video, and I decided to go through the old dustbin and pull out Surgineer. Now I've A++ each one of these missions, and I'm going to show you how to do that. More achievements have been added since back when I played this game. The achievements themselves are pretty straightforward. If you click on them, it explains how to actually get the achievement. So we're not going to cover that in this video. I'd rather just show you how to get A++. Now, before we can get into each level and explain how to do it quickly, you need to understand what's required of you to even get an A++. If you do each operation successfully, you should see these stats. The top 4 are the most important. But rather than going into a long drawn-out explanation about why they're important, how they work, I'm going to make this real simple. Let's call these the golden rules. Number 1, all missions, with the exception of the last mission, you have to complete under 2 minutes. The last mission, you have 5 minutes. Number 2, unless you're screwing around, not all items are created equal. Know which ones work best. I show you guys which ones work best in the video. And lastly, keep bleeding under control. And if the heart stops, restart the heart as soon as possible. Level 1, or reanimation, is the easiest of all levels to get A++, because the only thing you need to focus on is doing what they ask you to do and getting it done in under a minute. Now, something I didn't do in this video that I wish I did was go for the adrenaline syringe here sooner. Put the adrenaline in it, and when you stab the heart, that counts as you stabbing the heart, then hitting it with the adrenaline. So you're saving yourself a step by just using the adrenaline gun to actually stab it. Also, if you haven't figured it out already, this game is super glitchy, and I'm doing this in 2026. And it's probably worse as far as being glitchy. Sad to say. Get the heart reanimated. And if you look at my time, 48 seconds on the clock. Boom, done. Now, you'll notice at the end of this one, there is no integrity, nothing you have to worry about. It's just the time. Also, real quickly, guys, something else worth mentioning. Know how to restart when it's necessary. I know a lot of people probably don't realize this. Maybe some of you do. But if you're going to try to A++ a mission, you're going to definitely sometimes run into issues. Here, I recorded this example. I loaded into this stage and it was like this. So 2026, this game still has a whole lot of jank in it. Be prepared for that. Next is object extraction, and the first thing you want to prioritize is stop all the bleeding, especially the eye. The eye is one of our biggest priorities. That's the first nail that we're going to pull, and the best way to do it is to grab the magnet wand or whatever, gravity wand, whatever you want to call it. And on the other side, you're going to grab these pair of pliers, right? Use the gravity wand to try to hold his eye. Now, I didn't in this, and it did pop his eyeball out. You can do this without popping his eye out. But the important thing is to get that eyeball back in, get it healed, and check to see if the eye actually moves. If the eye doesn't move, you may as well restart, because you're not going to get the integrity, the flesh integrity. If the eyeball still moves, if he can still track with you, you're okay. From there, you can pull whatever nail you want out. Just make sure that you're immediately healing it as fast as you're pulling them out. And be extremely careful that you don't accidentally push the nails in. If you do, it's brain damage. It's considered dead. It's going to say the brain's dead, and it's going to be an instant fail. A very common theme you're going to see amongst all these videos is I use relatively the same equipment. That gravity wand, the healing spray, and eventually you'll see a laser is going to come out, and these are going to be the bread and butter of what you do. Now, things begin to get a little bit harder from here. Resuscitation. It's a little more challenging if you don't know what you're doing. But the first thing you want to do is get your adrenaline. And after that, get your syringe and immediately inject him full of adrenaline. After that, you want to stop the bleeding and immediately go for the mask. With one hand, pump the mask. With your other hand, pump his chest. You want to get his oxygen levels up, otherwise he's going to be brain dead. After that, we use the defibrillator on him. That should get his heart started, but if it for some reason doesn't, mask back on, give him more oxygen, try again. This one sometimes can be hit or miss. Sometimes you can get him resuscitated in one shot, sometimes it takes more than one. The biggest thing that's going to challenge you on this one is your hands colliding into everything or getting stuck on stuff. So again, be ready to reset if need be. So level 4 lacerations, you want to immediately get your hands on the spray gun and immediately get bleeding under control. The harder the bleeding, the more you see it spurting out. Once it starts to slow down and stop, you won't see it. You'll hear a little cue to let you know that you got it. Also, don't forget the arteries because they are also bleeding. Now, if you take too long, his heart will stop. He will need to be resuscitated. So time is key. Immediately, you want to know where your stuff is and go after it. Now, this particular go-around, I went with the tweezers or whatever you call these things to reattach the arteries. All you really have to do is touch one to the other. They'll attach themselves. I made a mistake right here. You should get the knife out before you get the artery out, and you'll see why in a minute. Once you got the spray, close up the wounds. You don't have to worry about the artery at that point. It'll go back into the chest cavity. Okay, so here's where I messed up, guys. I pulled that out and wind up severing the artery all over again. So the better thing to have done was actually pull the knife, then stop the bleeding, then worry about the artery, and then worry about going ahead and closing that wound. I would have actually saved some time on this one and probably got a little bit of a better score, at least time-wise. Now, following this level, we have dentures, implant, or teeth removal. I'm not sure which one it was called, so we'll call it dentures. All you need is this tool here and just start cracking away at the teeth. Do the top, do the bottom. This is really straightforward. If you need to, lean in there and look and see what you're doing. Grab the dentures on the table after that, jam them in his mouth. And with this one, all you need to do is just make sure the dentures actually sit in his mouth. Like, even for like a second. Like that one fell out, but they still gave it to me. So there's really nothing to this one. This is an easy A++. Remember, it's just about time. Okay, so in level 6 and beyond, we start getting introduced to the laser. It's hidden in the drawer here, and it's the perfect object to use to cut. Better than anything they have on the table. So you're going to want to grab your health spray. You're going to grab the laser. All you have to do is trace the line. Okay, make sure you fully get the line. It's going to pop. Immediately get the bleeding under control on both sides. Now, he's going to immediately go into cardiac arrest the moment you split the leg. So be prepared to get the defibrillator out and resuscitate. Now, again, with the laser and the health spray, you're going to wind up cutting away at the bone. You're going to wind up cutting away at those 2 arteries in the leg. Take out the arteries first, and then focus your attention back on the bone. Make sure he's not bleeding. Attach leg. On the next level, you can get a 2-for-1. Now, you can get your A++ on the eye transplant, and if you're feeling gross enough, you can also take one of his eyeballs, put it in his mouth, and get the cannibal achievement. So for this one, right off the cuff, gravity wand, laser, pull the eyeball out, get by the base of it, immediately stop the bleeding afterwards, and then on the table in front of you, you'll see the 2, we'll call them robot eyes. Mine's happen to be under that plate. Just set them next to there, they'll reattach, and then from there, use your gravity wand to push them back into the eye sockets. As you can see, 44 seconds. So next up is level 8, head transplant. You're going to be using your laser, you're going to be using your spray. The moment that you sever the neck, you're going to immediately want to start spraying the area and try to get bleeding under control. You're also going to do that for the arteries because, again, we don't want blood loss. We want to try to minimize the blood loss. Next, you're going to want to hold the laser to the neck bone. If you look carefully on the screen, you'll see it counting up. I have the other head ready in my hand. You're going to want to immediately get that other head on as soon as that one falls off. Now, I immediately went for the defibrillators, but I completely forgot you don't actually have to defibrillate this guy to get the A++. You just need to make sure you get that head back on time. Level 9 is going to require you to hairpin gather things before you even begin the operation. That's the heart, and that's the chest guard, we'll call it for now, or rib cage, whatever you want to call that. Next, we're going to grab the laser. We're going to go ahead and cut off that top layer of skin. Also nearby is an axe. So if you're trying to get the lumberjack achievement, it's the perfect time to use that. Use the axe, plus it works better than the hammer. So we grab our axe, break the rib cage. Don't worry, it's not going to destroy the internal organs, and you'll get that achievement. Once we've gotten through the chest plate and the rib cage, you're going to want to take the spray. You're going to want to stop any bleeding. Next, we remove the lungs. From there, you can immediately just pull the heart. You don't even have to laser it. Slap in a new heart, put the lungs back in, and then on the table, you're going to find a taser. Take the taser, hit the heart, go for the chest plate, get the chest plate on, get the flap of skin back on, and you're good. Next is brain implant, and you're going to start out with the typical healing spray and laser. Again, all you have to do is trace the line with the laser, make sure you cut all the way, and from there, you'll actually get the skin to just kind of pop. Get all bleeding around the skull under control. You can take the hammer and crack the skull while you're controlling the bleeding. I hesitated, but this is actually a really great way to kind of shave off some of that time. And you keep on cracking away until the entire skull is gone. So I had to hit a little bit more here. Once you do that, you're going to sever the brain stem and the eyeballs. Start with the eyeballs so you don't accidentally pull them out the skull. I've done that already like once or twice. From there, immediately slap the other brain in and you're done. So level 11 is alien removal, and it's a lot easier than it looks. First thing you want to do is grab the taser and grab your healing spray and immediately begin to shock each tentacle and heal whatever damage is caused from him ripping away from the host. I advise actually removing the trash lid in advance so you can not have to sit here and remove it later. I did earlier, I don't know why it was back on. From there, immediately get the eyeball back in. Now, I made a mistake and forgot that I was still attached, so just be aware of that. And then from there, heal up the eyeball, and you're going to still need that gravity wand or whatever you want to call it, because in his mouth is an egg. Remove the egg, and voila, A++. Okay, the moment we've all been waiting for, and some of you probably fast forward to. The last level, level 12. This first part, there really is no simple way of doing it. You see me kind of grabbing at the robot arm or whatever you want to consider it. That helps, and it's going to come in handy later. But for now, this first part, it just sucks, and you're just going to have to cut away and keep an eye on your percentage. And one thing I do suggest is raising up wherever the level is to what's comfortable for you, so you can operate cleanly and so you can see cleanly, because both of those things are going to be really important. Now, once you pop that skin off, you're going to need to defib. Immediately go over shock and immediately get that handle up, because you'll defib again and you'll have issues there. From there, spray, cauterize whatever wounds, and then you're going to need your bone saw. I'm going to let this thing play all the way through to show that it is possible to get it in under 5 minutes. So from there, use the bone saw. You're going to have to cut away at the bone, like so. Another good suggestion, guys, is if you need to, put your other hand behind your back while you're doing this. For whatever reason, that offhand, your left hand, loves to attach itself to the handle of that lower and raise, and I'm telling you, it creates so many problems. Okay, so I want to point out something I just did in this section. I grabbed the arm, and you can control the arm like this, and I highly recommend it. The only thing I want to mention is remember that your hand is still on the control. So be careful what you're doing, because you can get it way off track. Now, once you've gotten that bleeding under control, you're going to start to remove the organs. The cool thing about this part is you don't actually have to put all the organs back in the body once you're done. So like the liver, the kidney, the stomach, the small intestine, the big intestine, all these things you can yank out and just toss to the side and not give it a second thought. The big part of the stomach, you're going to have to find somewhere to grab it and just kind of yank it until it tears. Or just do what I did right there. Okay, guys, so now here's where we're about to cheese the game. This is why where you have your level at is important, because you want to be able to control this arm. Now, you see that egg? We're not going to take the egg and swing it over to the garbage. We're going to take it, we're going to drop it in front of us. We're going to go for our next egg, and we're going to repeat this process. We're also going to do this with the stomach, the flap of skin, by the way. And so the reason why we're doing this, the reason why we're bringing it in front of us, is because we can pick those eggs up later, okay? And we can hover our hand over the trash can and just try to drop them in from there. And if for whatever reason they don't go into trash can, they wind up on the table next to you. So I want to kind of give it a minute and let it kind of play out so you can see what happens. All right, so you see what I'm doing? I'm grabbing the eggs and I'm trying to dump them in there, but guess what? If I don't make them in, they fall right back on my table. Like, this is one of the easiest ways to cheese the game. The next is grab this flap of skin and again, bring it over to you. Same trick. Now, in the past, when I originally did this, I didn't actually have to cheese the game like this. But I did still manage to make the eggs fall off the table so I could pick them up and drop them in the trash can. That hasn't changed. And the same with the stomach skin. It's grabbing it and it'll reset its location. So if the stomach fell off the table, for instance, the skin, it would actually wind back up like on his lap, and then you could just try to drag it back into place. But it's still challenging. And my original time, I'll have to show you guys here, I actually did this in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. This go around took me 4 minutes and 45 seconds. And even then, that was pure luck because it just happened to flop in the air and land in the right spot, and I got it. So again, this is just one of those ones you're going to really have to work at and get better at before you're actually going to get that AA. Oh, that A++ rather. Otherwise, guys, this is the best way to handle this last one. And I hope that this helped. Guys, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and let me know how you guys do in the comment section.